Today in cannabis news, the California state legislature is expected to vote on a bill to expand CBD in hemp-infused retail. In the state of New York, a company run by a former anti-cannabis U.S. Republican senator enters the cannabis industry. And two U.S. federal courts in Guam and the Northern Mariana Islands prepare to host a conference on cannabis legalization's impact on the tourism industry. It's Thursday, September 9th, and this is your Trichomes Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the Trichomes.com studios in Southern California. It's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, the California state legislature is scheduled to vote on a measure this week that may have huge implications for cannabis and hemp businesses in the state. Assembly Bill 45 has been in the making for years, as cannabis dispensaries have been barred from distributing hemp products and hemp businesses have pushed to repeal California's ban on retailing CBD outside of dispensaries. The measure, which would create a new set of regulations for hemp-infused products, such as CBD-infused beverages and foods, is expected to pass this year, giving the state's burgeoning hemp economy a boost and allowing cannabis companies to grow into a federally authorized crop. However, the measure has been divisive, with shareholders of all corners vying to have their interests reflected in the finalized version. The issues covered everything from hemp product laboratory analysis to the permissibility of smokable hemp flower. The legislature has until Friday to pass any pending measures before adjourning for the year.
Next up, after the recently inaugurated governor took important moves towards establishing cannabis legalization in the state, a New York lobbying group led by a former Republican U.S. senator stated this week that it is pursuing entry into the cannabis market. Park Strategies was launched in 1999 by former Senator Alphonse D'Amato, shortly after they left the U.S. Senate with a history of backing the failed war on drugs. Their company is now entering the cannabis industry, providing services to shape policies for both cannabis businesses and supplementary sectors. In 1990, D'Amato proposed legislation and an amendment that would have enabled taxpayers to allocate overpayments for drug-related enforcement. D'Amato was also not among the 35 senators who endorsed the 1998 resolution supporting the federal process to determine the safety and efficacy of drugs, and condemned efforts to circumvent this process by legalizing marijuana and other Schedule I drugs for medicinal use without valid scientific evidence and the approval of the Food and Drug Administration. In the years after they exited the Senate, their views on cannabis laws have altered dramatically. D'Amato joined the Pro-Legalization Marijuana Policy Project's New York chapter as a senior policy advisor in 2017.
Last up, a conference on legalizing cannabis and the possible effects on the tourism sector will be held next week by federal courts serving the U.S. territory of Guam and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. In recent years, both regions have taken steps to legalize cannabis for recreational consumption, and now their U.S. district courts are hosting a conference entitled Marijuana Hits the Shores of Guam and the CNMI. Investors in the industry, policymakers, and tourist authorities will all be in attendance. The session will be moderated by an Arizona-based federal bankruptcy judge. Among the primary topics to be discussed is if the cannabis industry will help or harm the tourism industry. Speakers will also discuss the risks and benefits of legalizing cannabis, as well as the financial potential of the medical and recreational industries. Additional topics to be explored include finance and the legal aspects of the cannabis sector.
That was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit trichomes.com.
And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis industry-related podcasts, like Hash It Out, Tech in Cannabis, or the International Cannabis Conversation, wherever you get your podcasts. For trichomes.com, I'm RJ Balde.
And I'm Devin Leal. Have a great day.